The elephant in the living room, bridging the gaps between colleges. The issues that exist between the colleges of education and the colleges of arts and sciences on hundreds of college and university campuses. The elephant is the issue of teacher preparation and the lack of a strong working relationship between the colleges and their faculties. Both operate as separate entities, showing little respect for the strengths and necessity of the other. As an institution, we'd waited too long to fix ourselves. While sitting back, ignoring the elephant, others have long noticed the problems of poor teacher preparation. The U.S. Governors Association, for example, has noted the inadequacies of higher education. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have spoken out against the archaic and outdated structures and methodologies of U.S. higher ed. Kellogg Foundation and the Wallace Foundation, as well as many other large corporations and their foundations, are funding reform programs. Behind these organizations are very powerful names with great political influence. The U.S. Department of Education and many state Department of Educations have also noted the problems, but are frustrated with changing the elephant. How do you get an elephant out of the living room, especially when too few are ready to recognize that the elephant even exists? In dysfunctional families, we know the elephant is an addiction. The family moves around and talks around the elephant, as if not recognizing it results in it not existing. Progressive institutions of higher education are recognizing that what they've been teaching and how they've been operating does not work for the 21st century. Tweaking the system will only cause the U.S. to fall farther behind. Recognizing Michael Fullen's first and second order change, we must move towards second order change or risk becoming inconsequential. There's a national movement toward improving P-12 teacher preparation programs in the U.S. Within secondary education, the business world, politicians, and a growing number of educators recognize that the preparation of U.S. high school graduates falls short of what is needed to maintain a competitive global edge. The U.S. graduation rate, for example, ranges from 76 to 78%, depending upon the year you examine the data. Some urban school districts report graduation rates as low as 21%. Our U.S. PISA math and science scores are embarrassingly low, and the U.S. government's National Assessment of Educational Progress scores have shown little or minimal improvement. Teachers are frustrated as well with poor preparation, poor leadership, outdated sets of skills, and a student population that becomes increasingly more difficult to teach. These issues have now flowed over into U.S. higher education. As one Midwestern university found when it began examining their costs of remedial education, over 50% of computer science majors were required to take remedial math prior to their major courses. They were accepted with math knowledge and skills insufficient to meet the freshman levels needed for computer science prerequisites. Too many professors of the hard sciences and hard maths discourage bright students from majoring in teacher education. The impact now is being felt by those same departments as they spend precious resources on remedial instruction. How much better prepared might our incoming students be if they'd been taught by our best and brightest science and math university students? Until the 21st century, international students viewed the U.S. as the place to go for quality post-high school education. In many countries, the number of higher ed institutions limited access. But in the last 20 years, many countries have invested great resources into the development of their colleges and universities. U.S. colleges and universities are no longer considered the only premier educational option available. Fewer and fewer students are able to afford an education. Students graduate owing from $40,000 to $100,000, and they're not medical doctors. There are many reasons that the elephant exists. It is fed by a healthy appetite of fears and myths. One myth is that is perpetuated by quiet thoughts and internal conversations, but not openly addressed by those involved, is the myth of those who can do and those who can't teach. Society needs to recognize that, in fact, both are necessary to adequately prepare our future teachers. The hard sciences and hard math faculty also feed the elephant with the myth that those in the College of Education, faculty in the College of Education, are adequately prepared with their pedagogical skills, while faculty in the arts and sciences know content but lack pedagogy. Another way of feeding the elephant has been the blame dance. We must stop spending time, effort, and energy blaming others. It's not about K-12 not sending us their best and brightest, because they do. And it's not about budget issues, because studies have shown that there is not a relationship between how much money is spent and how much students learn. It's also not about tenure or about a culture that doesn't appreciate education. Part of what it is about, however, is that higher education needs to complete a comprehensive self-assessment of where it is and where it needs to be for the 21st century. It is then about taking the necessary steps to eat or remove the elephant. It is becoming abundantly clear that if U.S. higher education doesn't self-improve, those in power will make those decisions for it. K-12 educators also perpetuate the myth and feed the elephant. Their myth is that they believe that really bright math and science students would make lousy K-12 math and science teachers. These educators believe that gifted students, when they become teachers, are too bright for the ordinary K-12 student to understand or to learn from. Does that make sense? If they are in fact our brightest, could we not teach them to be effective teachers? So what can we do? Well, first we must see the elephant. We must stop and recognize that it exists, that we are part of the problem. So we must debunk the myths that have developed between the two colleges. We must open up conversations and collaborate on research agendas. Not all, but some, supported by both colleges. The college and the institution need to encourage the development of relationships and dialogue. Sharing research agendas would support this happening. Mini grants funded by the institution, co-authorship and work on grants, shared publications and presentations could support joint faculty research agendas. We need to recognize each college's strengths and acknowledge the need for each other. We need to look internally and externally, brainstorming with faculty and students and constituents, stakeholders with solutions. We need to become the innovative U.S. educational system that we were in the past. But most importantly, and possibly the hardest thing we need to do, is to get off our high horses and realize our responsibilities for continuous improvement. Upper levels of higher education administration need to recognize the fiscal, cultural, and longitudinal necessity of supporting collaboration between all parties involved in teacher preparation programs. Progressive college and university administrators will discourage competition between colleges and move towards an institutional climate and culture of collaboration. Supportive collaboration is accomplished by praising and supporting those individuals, departments, and colleges that are working well together, collaboratively creating curriculum, integrating pedagogy, sharing their passion and their excitements for their disciplines. We need to indoctrinate new faculty from both colleges into collaborative relationships. If faculty enter with an understanding of the developing culture of collaboration from their first meeting with the department, and it's reinforced through their orientation process, the culture will begin to change. This is significant when one examines the average age of U.S. higher education faculty who are very close to retirement ages. The opportunity to replace them with faculty trained to work outside of their comfort zone toward a culture of collaboration is present and growing. Hiring practices within the College of Education need to focus on skill sets that include a desire to work with the College of Education and vice versa. There is much that we do not know. Thus, there is much research to be completed. We're not sure what 21st century higher education should look like. Is it virtually online or bricks and mortar? Will it continue to function as separate towers on a campus of towers, or an environment of shared learning and teaching, not limited to department names and content? There are many significant questions that need examined. We've identified 3 for this short presentation. We need hard data needs to be gathered regarding the quality of all aspects of an institution's teacher preparation program. The question needs to be asked, how does higher ed move into the instructional 21st century? And last, is the current institutional structure the best one for teacher preparation? Thank you for listening to our presentation today. If you have any questions, here's our contact information. Please feel free to contact us. We would love to have a conversation or dialogue with you on the issue of how to get the elephant out of the living room.